If you're tuning in now or after the live, I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Excuse me. I believe there's an opportunity that has presented itself here as we've been talking the last several days. From that 494 level, we can see how now we're on an upward trajectory here, it looks like. And we've got two major pivot points that we're going to come up upon. One is not part of the pattern formation. One is a tier where if you get above it, you can have nice little moves up. If you break below it, you have nice quick moves down. And right now we're trending towards that first pivot point. And we'll discuss that further, as we get into this live. We're also going to talk about Binance as it freezes 4.2 million XRP related to the hack we know with one of the founders. So we'll go over that. And then I also want to talk about Flare here this evening. Flare's up. It was better than 16%. I'll have to see where it's at as of right now. It's up 11% as it's retracing now. But it was up about 16% at its top. Flare seems to be, I don't want to say it's broken out because it hit a top. And now we have to see if this is more of like turning into a right shoulder, double top, or if this has a little bit of staying power and we'll be able to break up to the next level. So I'll be interested to dissect Flare here as well. We will take a look at that Binance stuff, obviously, during this live. And then XRP is going to be interesting. The market cap's up over 400 million on the day. It's only up about 1.34% as far as the price is concerned. But I think we could be starting a trajectory here. I also want to look at some of the other players in the market. I'm going to look at Casper. Probably take a look at how gold did at the end of the week. So we'll just see how it goes. So I want to timestamp this, and then I'll see the comments, see how many people are here, and see what kind of back and forth we have, depending on the back and forth, as you all know. Kind of depends on how long we do things. Yesterday was about an hour. We had a great back and forth. We had over 90 people here yesterday, which was actually a little surprising just because the market was on such a downturn. So it was nice to see so many people show up. But, it just all depends on the back and forth. The message is to stay positive. Watch the market for what it is. Don't get over emotional. And pay attention to the opportunities that they present themselves, because XRP presented one. Just a matter of I want to see what everybody thinks about how far this can go and where it goes from there. So let me timestamp this very quickly. If you could do me a favor and please hit that like button, that would greatly help me. Those likes are more valuable than anything. I don't have a marketing budget because I don't do any paid promotions or advertisements or sponsorships of any kind. And I don't charge for my content. So the most important thing is for you to hit that like button. Help us expand past 20,000. I think it's somewhat of a miracle we've hit 20,000 in this community, but I don't think that's our final goal. So I think we're continuing to build, and it's just an honor and a privilege to be here with everybody. It's even more important with the ones who are here when the market's not exactly doing what everybody wants. It's easy for everybody to show up when it's up 30%, 100%, 500%. It's not easy to show up when it's down 15% or 30% over a 3-month period, 60% over a half a year. Sometimes it's not easy. But it's the ones who are diligent that end up finding that silver lining here. So let me do this very quickly. Good evening. 5:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, February 2nd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So as we can see, the market's a little green right now. End of the week, futures market is closing. Stock market's already closed besides after hours. We've had an interesting event here with the DXY. It had dumped all the way down, and I don't want to say that it's important to understand formations, but it's important to understand the formation. We knew with the DXY, when we came down here, we bounced around. It was up here. We talked about if it came down to support and held, it would just have a quick volatile move back up, and then we'd have to be concerned about the 104.95 push. But we put the push down just in case because we like to be transparent. But right now, we're just playing around in this. It's basically an ascending channel, it looks like. And I measured it like that because I thought it was an appropriate way to get the measurement. And it looks like it paid off because we had a volatile spike today where we went from right around 102 spot, what was it? 102 spot 92. And in the matter of about 4 hours roughly, we were up to almost just about 104. So it was a rather volatile spike. Pretty big one too if you're talking in terms of the DXY. So that had crypto early on pumping, and then it dumped a little bit. But I think crypto as a whole, it held out pretty good. That was almost a 1% move in just about 2.5, 3 hours with the DXY. That's a big move. And gold, up to our suspicion, it actually, as we suspected, it reversed. We thought that was an artificial run up when Jerome Powell spoke, or right before he spoke, and we thought that was going to have an after effect. And it did. It came down. It was up to about 2,066 yesterday. And then all of a sudden we found it down about $40. Right now it's ending the week around 2,039 spot 54. So, take that for what it's worth, with silver falling down about 2.1% on the week, and the gold silver ratio is at 89 spot 878. There's opportunity there. So, but yeah, that's about all I want to say with that. Little topping reversal patterns, or these reversals right here where it's at. I think it's potentially going to go down a little farther. I have been very open about it with gold and silver. Here, let me turn the comments on. I don't even know how many people have commented. I see there's actually a decent amount of people here. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live. I know it's a little early, but just because of the way the market's moving, it's making it a perfect time for me to do this live. And I debated whether or not to wait, but I just didn't think I wanted to. With the way some things had closed, the market's moving a certain way. So, yeah, I think that this is a good time to do this. Wow, I'm going to have to get my phone out for a second. Holy smokes. Let me just get through the comments real quick, and then I will get back to what I was doing. I just like to acknowledge everybody real quick. Yeah, Tom says Flair's a monster. Yes, indeed, it seems to be. Alessandro, welcome in. You are not late at all, my friend. Wolozy, welcome. Good early evening. XRP looks like it wanted to, but couldn't. We'll get into XRP very deeply here. Messi, Mark Casson, welcome in. Janthony, good evening. Let's see. RPS, good evening. Matt Holden, good evening. And I thank you for being in Tom's Army for 6 months, as we are very lacking on the new supporters in Tom's Army. So I thank everybody who is part of Tom's Army. It is a diligent thing, especially when times are tough. A lot of people dropped out of Tom's Army. I don't know if it's, times are tough, or if it's because of the new policy with YouTube where you have to re-sign up. But in any event, I appreciate everybody who stuck around. Zakaria, welcome in. None of the major platforms work in New York. Interesting. Tanya, welcome in, love. Been in Tom's Army for over a year. I greatly appreciate you. John Patak in Tom's Army. That's the XRP predictor. That's about 5 months. I appreciate you continuing your due diligence and paying it forward. I greatly appreciate that. Mark James, good evening. Joshua, looking good so far in the daily. I agree. Mo, thanks for being in Tom's Army for, I think that's 6 months with the predictor. You and Matt Holden. I mean, the XRP Meteor. That's, what is that, 3 months, 4 months? No, 4 months, I think. So I thank you both for paying it forward. Like, you have no idea how much that means to me. JW, thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year. Excellent, excellent. That's the I told you so badge. I greatly appreciate that. So now we're back to caught up, so now I can shut my phone off. So first thing we're going to start with is XRP. We're up 1.5% or at 0.5133. XRP is in this descending triangle. I think it's pretty obvious. And that's the shorter time frame. In the hour, yeah, everybody will be like, well, what's this uptrending support if you're not familiar? Well, the uptrending support here is that 44.30. That uptrending support is actually the rising channel pattern that this has formed inside of this descending triangle. So when I say an opportunity has presented itself, it's for a couple different reasons. If we look at the daily, it's left us in a curious position. We've got a lot of room here. It looks like in the daily time frame we have a definite reversal candle. The RSI and the relative strength is in a perfect area for a continuation. And I dare say for maximum liquidity, and we speculated this would turn into a W for the last few days, but I say for speculatively for this, well, let's first do this for anybody who's new. Resistance, support, resistance, support 2, support 3. Well, we have resistance, well, resistance 1, support 1, resistance 2, support 2, support 3. It would only make sense to come up, even if this is bearish, to resistance 3. So if it comes up to resistance 3, that puts you around 57 cents. That would also have to get you past the pivot point at 534. So assume you get past the pivot point and that's where you get rejected. Then I would speculate that it would come down here. And if it held at the 44 cents, then it could have a big bounce up to the top of the rising channel. Otherwise, if it were to break out here, technically, if you did this and back tested on the back side of this and wrote it down to like 534, but on the outside, maybe it doesn't even need to do all that. You could have a bounce up here too if you get the proper consolidation. Then it starts looking like something like that. And then we start asking ourselves later, if we get a pattern like that, because it happens a million times in the comments, we'll start to ask questions. Some of us won't, who have been here. We'll be like, well, how could we not have seen that we had a resistance, support? The pattern suggests, to confirm a pattern, now that it held it, that it would come back up here. Right? So how would we not see that until it's developed? Now, what if it did do something like this and then bounce up? That's where we start to say, well, you know, sometimes you have to dig a little deeper into the pattern while it's going on and not be afraid of what you're seeing. Like, as far as the relative strength, some would say, oh, well, now it's back up to neutral. Yes, but it's working its way out from an oversold perspective. So if all of the momentum stays the same, the daily looks fine. It's got plenty of room. The smaller time frames will always get people caught up because they think that that's the end all be all. I'm going to tell you something. Even in the 30-minute where it's overbought, with the range in the smaller time frames, we've got to see exactly how it presents, because now all we're doing is looking for a hold at either 509 in the 30-minute, or this is the other part of it. Maybe we weren't ready yet, and this is what we were ready for. We bounced up, and now XRP, it bounced once here. So in the 2-hour, it looks okay. But in the 4-hourly, now we've got to prove that we can hold the resistance here as a support. So maybe it needs to come back to 508. Maybe that's why it's breaking back down. But in that process, it's going to put in an inverted hammer candle. And with where the 4-hourly is with the RSI, it seems to be presenting to me that there's an opportunity, even if it's at worst at that 534 level. Now, if it were to reverse, that could be something. But the other thing we're not acknowledging here is even, I can see in the shorter perspective of this pattern, you've come down here even, and we keep creating the same thing. It's almost like it's creating these inverted head and shoulders in our face right now. So, but I want to see if this W actually plays out. I think that could be what's going on here. And I think it's interesting where the relative strength index is right now, especially from a daily perspective. Weekly is going to be interesting when the week closes, because if it rotates back up, you could start to have a hook on the bottom. But it's just, forget about the indicators. Just look at the formation we're looking at. That's a long leg doji right there, if you know. It's kind of leaning up more towards, it's kind of leaning more towards a dragonfly, which would be interesting, because that's more, see, it's more like a bullish setup. But if you look at the daily, maybe that just says before the daily closes, maybe this just comes up a little bit more to like 515, extends the resistance. Or I mean, the top side, well, which would be pushing towards resistance, but maybe it just pushes that side up. So the top of the wick will expand out a little bit more. If it squeezes down a little bit, it's going to be interesting. But I don't know. It seems like to me it could be a push up this weekend. It seems like it's doing exactly what it wants to. As far as Casper goes, I said I would talk about that. It's up 1.67%. Or about 3.5 cents. CZAM, welcome in. Swap some XRP to stake flare. Interesting. Nice. The cool thing about flare, you get monthly flare airdrops just for holding it. Every single month I get flare. I get about 600 per month. I didn't even realize that I was going to get that when I bought it, and it's pretty cool. I don't even have to do anything. Just hold it on Uphold. I guess it's probably wherever you hold it. That's pretty cool. Another cool thing is we bought it for like what? Under a penny. So that's that, you know, that also is cool. But with Casper up 1.77% at just over 3.5 cents. These were what we were talking about yesterday. Are these W reversers that are going to catch all of these? Like these are different tiers here. Remember we worked on this yesterday. And look at this with the daily perspective. Again, it's interesting how we were out in front of all this, and we even created the expanded look here with Casper yesterday, and now it's written over, and this would be considered a tier 1 breakout. Now we're looking to see if we can support the 3.5 area. You know, maybe it's like 3.53. If it breaks up again, then we're looking for a tier 2 breakout at 3.64, get over on the top. And then we'd be looking for this would be the big move that could expand us out if we can get over all of this. And that would bring you up to about the 4.23 level. Now the 4-hourly leaves a lot to be desired. Smaller time frames are consolidating right now, which when you start seeing this is exactly what you want. So it came up to the 200-day and the 45. Now it's consolidating already, so it's not expanded out a lot. Now you can see if you need a hold here. Maybe you get a hold and now it's ready to move up. If not, you can always consolidate down. But by doing it in these small motions right now, we're going to see right now in the daily time frame, it's oversold. And you can see that it's starting the first signs of the reversal. That to me looks like a beautiful engulfing, well, it wasn't engulfing, but now it's an inverted hammer candle right now. I mean, it looks beautiful. To me, this is signifying that there's going to be some continuation likely this weekend. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but it looks like there's some interest to happen. Sometimes you get a down candle for a day, and then it'll just shoot up. But a lot of times off of these, this is signifying that there's a lot of top-end pressure, and we're running out of steam down below. So I think there's opportunity in the crypto market for sure, and Flare could be front-running this opportunity. Very well could. And I mean, we're no stranger to Flare. We bought it for a reason when we did. So, and I'm very happy to watch it now. And get my added Flare every single month as if I'm buying it myself. It's fantastic. I bought just over 10,000 and now it's getting close to 12,000. So I've almost gotten 20% over what I bought now without having to spend a single dollar just by holding it. I love seeing it every month when it comes in. It's always unexpected when I get the message too the last few months. But flaring itself in the daily, it's getting towards the overextended, but don't be surprised if it tries to push. If we try to push this high up here at like 3 cents. Now, it's going to get overextended, ladies and gentlemen, so don't get too excited for too long. But what I'm saying is maybe it comes up here. See, this is what I think would make sense. There's no way to guarantee that any of this happens. But in some regard, whether it comes all the way up to here or not, it's going to come down here and it's going to have to hold this new breakout. So whatever it does, whether it wants to try to double top, hit these tops, it needs to bounce in here for a second, then bounce out again. Because it's going to have to confirm that we're not bearish. So it's going to, no matter what it does here, it's going to end up, if it breaks down or it gets the consolidation now and tries to come down one way or the other, it's going to have some kind of a drop. This probably wouldn't be enough. This would probably just pull it down back into the structure of this ascending formation. So, but yeah, it's looking like a huge cup and handle. Not even just, if you look from right here, this could be a cup and handle. So, just from when it made that rally up, this could absolutely be a cup and handle when it gets there. But, you know, even right here, maybe. You know, I also look at it like that as well, just in case it does break down, that this didn't build a bear flag in there. Right now, though, you want it to hold because then it'll come up because it's on the top side of it, even if it is could be perceived as a bearish formation. But the RSI is going to get out of control here. So a lot of people that didn't buy it, this will be coming to the question. If you didn't buy at 0085, why are you pounding down the doors at, 255 for Flare? You know, that's the question. If you look, I'm looking long term too. Like this isn't what I was looking for. It's just nice to see. So I mean, but it gives you perspective too. You're trying to do this with XRP with all of your holdings. Like I see a lot of salty people now in the comments, not in the live, but if you go through the video comments, that are just done with XRP. They're rating it its goodwill on the way out. A lot of people are very unhappy right now, saying that they give up on XRP. So it's a very interesting time, especially for me, because I was already not that liked to begin with, just because I tell the truth. And now I've said for years that it's going to take a long time for this to play out. And don't get mad at me. Just embrace it and understand what you're doing. That's why I call this anything. I never call this a bull market, bear market. I call it the accumulation phase. We can't even start a bear market rally because we haven't met the parameters. We're certainly not in a bull market. And we're very entrenched in a bear market. And now the other thing is like I always try to tell everybody, if you're an XRP and you're down 50% right now, you obviously feel different than me because I'm in at 34 cents. And I was in at 47 cents in the last bull market and sold at $1.66 just to buy back at 34 cents. Like, obviously, I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I also know how to work the market. And I showed everybody in real time for the last 3 years. It's just a matter of who wants to listen. But you should see the comments the last few weeks. Everybody, I'm done. I give up. The hell with this. I sold. I'm never looking back. I understand. And that's the time when in a month or two, you're going to wake up and be like, well, what the? I just got rid of this. I held it all year. And now all of a sudden it's up 35% in a day. Like, it's ridiculous. See, the ones who are, the truth is, the ones who are going to get really mad about the circumstance are the ones who watch influencers they trust. And that's just the truth. And they heard that it's going to 4 or 5 figures. And then when it gets to $10 and, it struggles or it gets to 5 or $1, people are just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I bought it in at X amount and I'm thinking it's going to go to Y, and not realizing that even if it goes to $3, everybody should be happy because we're buying it at 34 cents, so you're getting a 10x. But then realizing that 90% of the people watching me are probably in it. Well, maybe not 90% because a lot of people, well, not a lot because I only had 1,500 followers back then. So all of my audience, except for 15, not even, except for 7.5% of my audience, 7.5% of my audience watched that go down. That's crazy to think about. So yeah, not very many people watching me were around when that happened. So now we're living in real time, right? We're living in real time, not past, not yesteryear. We want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. And like, sometimes that worrying and not having a basic strategy it's not going to allow you to get to tomorrow in this game. And that's what it is. This is very risky. They don't call it investing for nothing. Investing is a fancy word for most are going to lose all their money because they think it's going to be a better way. That's the truth. Investing means most watching will lose their money. That's why it's an investment, because most likely it's not going to pay off. They might as well just call it gambling, unless you understand. See, the world is fascinated by the Pepes and the Lunas and the Lunk and all those shitty coins. It's fascinated. I mean, I could throw you a million of them. They're more interested in those because they see it run 400, 600, 800, 1,000% in a day. But what they don't tell you is it falls 1,500% in a day. It's like, well, how is that even possible? Well, you just got to find the ones that, so. But what we should be doing is focusing on our investment strategy. And that's not just crypto. That's also precious metals. As I've been very transparent, I started doing this in 2018 with precious metals. I incorporated it to my audience in 2021 when I started. But we found a major opportunity, and it was just something you would have to go back in the archive and watch unfold. The thing I've learned about XRP is it's a liquid token. Use it how you will. We all have our bets to place. Yes, indeed, Zam. See, that's the best way to put it. We'll get back to XRP, but if Tanya's still here, we got a nice audience tonight. A nice loving, well, it's not even that it's a loving audience. We have a nice communicative audience tonight, and I like seeing that. Like, you don't know how impressed I am with my audience to see 72 people here. And again, another down week. Everybody's hopes are becoming like, these are the times I shine the most. These are the times that I pull back what I do. I reevaluate. And now I come at it at a slightly different angle. As you see, my content's going to slightly change here going forward. I felt like, not that I wasn't doing my job, but I felt like, things were getting a little stale. I can call it for what it is. I think things were getting a little stale. So that's why you see, even as far as the background, I've changed the setting a little bit. But I went back to what I like to do in the pre-video. I like to do the description. Even if it takes me 3 minutes, I don't care. I just like to give a day's recap. And now, instead of just focusing so much on the charts with the times where we had to, now that it's not really doing what we need to do, or what everybody wants it to do, and we've got a time to reflect, these are the times that I like to dig deeper into the news. And now I like to try to target a different style audience as well. I love my audience, but we try to expand and embrace and adapt. So that's what we're doing now. And, you know, maybe you've noticed the last couple of days I haven't done the midday market report. You know, that's something that I will evaluate going forward. But that's only because I think there's a different way to do things. I think there's a way to incorporate that at 6:30 p.m. I don't need to separate it into the midday and evening. Maybe have those two time periods converge. But there's ways that I'm trying to do things that is trying to, I don't know, I go through different changes. So this is one of those changes. But right now especially with HBAR too, I'm seeing this everywhere. So, and this is a more personal, a more detailed, and a more in tune time when you get this time. This is the one you want. This is the one you want because this is the laser focused one. And when I'm laser focused, that means something's about to go down. So everybody, I'm sure if you've been with me for long enough, you know when the cycles are changing. JW, do you feel the shift? So, I mean, if this plays out, we're going to say, well, how did we not see this? How did we not see that big move that was about to happen? Well, I guess we did because the relative strength is showing us we've got a lot of leverage to the top side. If it holds here, we could see that. Now we'd be like, well, what happens if it breaks down? Because again, we have the bearish cross here in the daily time frame according to the exponential moving averages. That's just a shift in momentum. But remember, it's lagging indicators. So the fact we didn't break down the 200-day wall, which is telling us what? That is correct, audience. If you don't break the 200-day, that means the pattern has not officially reversed. So this is exactly what it is. It's a lagging indicator. So that bearish cross could be lagging. And right when everybody starts taking the short, they're like, oh, this is easy money, bearish cross, yada, yada, yada. The easy money would be if it came down here and would have got rejected at the 200. Then you know it's got to come down to the first pivot point, maybe the pattern point. So that's what we have to watch. Right now, though, we've gotten supported by the 200-day, which is interesting as we've had a bearish cross with the 20 crossing the 50, which means as long as we hold this channel, we could have a likely bounce all the way back up to 8.8 without even anybody blinking an eye because they'd be like, well, what the? I'm a technical trader, damn it. That's why I have an indicator. It's at a bearish cross. Now I go in and now I'm down 13% on a 10X. Who's that happen to? You're a technical trader and you do a 10X leverage short because you have a bearish cross. You're up, 8, 9%. And you're like, hey, not bad. And then all of a sudden you blink, you're down 23% because it reversed 2.5%. And you're like, well, what just happened here? Well, most likely it bounced off the 200-day. So, but yeah, so that's what I'm watching here. That's why it's interesting because I think we have contradicting measurements here. For me, I'm seeing even the way that the scale is going. The selling volume's drying up. We have a definite what looks like a reversal pattern. We have not given up the 200-day. Even in the 4-hourly, when it comes to HBAR, you've got a lot of room here, which looks like it's bull flagging a little bit here in the RSI. So, I mean, it's starting to look like something here. And then if it does break down, and let's just say that this 7.2 hold or the 7 cents holds, well, everybody in the audience knows the next major area is 573 to hold. But yeah, like Alejandro said, the relative strength index is holding up nuts. And it is. And it had the dump out it needed. That dump out, even though we're a little overextended in the weekly, that dump out, it's got room here now. And if we take it not from necessarily a weekly perspective, because if you look at the weekly, that's where it gets really fruity, right? The weekly time frame, you have the bullish cross. Daily time, you have a bearish cross. So what's the higher time frame? So maybe, just maybe, if you look at your indicators, and not even the indicators, but I guess it is one of the EMA lines. But look how the 200-day is holding. That means the 200-day buyers aren't willing to give way. And now the 100-day buyers right now are sensing that we might have an opportunity. Right now, the 200-day buyers doubled up. They said, all right, we got a big opportunity. Now we got to get back to the 100-day. So just look at it this way. You've got the 200-day buyers out, and now it came back down like, hey, this is a good buy. I'm buying it again. Now the 100-day buyers who are on the fence, this is where they got to decide: are we going to sell it here at 7.2, or are we going to join this? We're going to join, and then these two converge, and then we have a move back up, and then you get your double reversal. even on this side of it. You'll have a big, I'm telling you, I love seeing it when it plays out like this too. Because you go, it's always like, how do we not see it? And then it even has a little W that could form right there on top of the W that's forming. It's pretty cool. So that's what you have to look at for Casper. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, for HBAR. Casper, I'm equally excited for because I see all these opportunities in the water. As some of you know, I took out a $1,000 Forex trade on Casper. I said it was a pretty easy trade to contain because, you know, when you buy it and it fluctuates, but it's only at a 4x, it gives you a lot more opportunity. So, I don't know. It's just, that's a journey that we're all going to continue together one day. The ones who are in the leverage trading, I barely speak about it, but I do give you hints when I'm in something, when I'm buying it, and I did a few days ago for anybody who wanted to join. But one day I'm going to allow everybody to copy trade who wants to. It's just, that's going to be done probably in a live for the ones who are paying attention. It's not going to be common knowledge of the audience, though. I won't do it in an update. But it'll be just as quickly to go through it just like that. That would be your heads up. And then if you are part of the leverage trading, you would just see it right on the sheet because you're trading off of the same, you know, like on MEXC, if I went to do it, you'd be trading under my name. You know, well, not under my name. It'd be under your own, but you'd be linked to my account. Let's just put it that way. So that is something that's going to happen in the future. It's just, I'm trying to figure out the right time, and it's coming. I think it'll be cool, though. CZAM says crypto is a crazy market. A lot of people still don't understand it. I'm going to read that after. But even in XRP, you can see in the daily time frame, that looks like a reversal candle. It looks like that would be a perfect W reversal, which would be a bullish dart lead where it's at. And it's held support for a third time. I mean, you would think it'd be coming up to that downtrending resistance. That's what it looks like. In my opinion, that's what it looks like we're trying to do. So, what else did I want to cover here before I get into that Binance stuff? Bitcoin would be a good one. Bitcoin's at 43,172. It's up about $93.38, up 0.22%. Right now we hit that major resistance at 43,505, but I've been very transparent the last few days. I'm always transparent, but somebody said I stayed true during all this time, which I love seeing that in the comments. I forgot to respond to it. I apologize for that. But if you look, so we knew when it broke, before it even broke down, when it came up here for this first wick, I was like, oh shit, it expanded into a broadening wedge. So we knew all we had to do was find the support, and we did. It came down a little bit below that to a lower pivot point. But it came down to this broadening wedge. So now we've said if it comes past 43,500, that pivot level, then we can come back into the old formation, which it's already in. But now it would be confirmed that it would come up to that 44,100 at minimum, because that means it's back into this bull flag setting. And all it did outside of this, and this is the crazy thing. I mean, it's so freaking crazy. And we've talked about this for a couple of weeks, and I'm so glad it's materializing like this. So everybody can see just how manipulative these bastards are, excuse my French, in the markets. But look at this opportunity, folks. Has anybody even eyed 47,000 on this drop the entire time? How we said 38,673 would be a beautiful drop. We talked about that a long time ago in that area. We even had a measured move out from the breakdown right there. That's how we knew that area, if it were to break that. Now, the best move would have been to come here, but that's neither here nor there because it's not. We came here, created an inverted left arm, inverted head, inverted right arm. The only thing left is to come up here now and try to see if we're either bullish or bearish. Bullish would be you'd land on the top side of 47K. Bearish, you'd run up against it at 47K. I think 47K is still very much in the deck of cards. It just still comes down to the fact, can you break out of this bull flag at 44,100? Because that's the technical move if you can. Or does it now create a much larger target as we know? And you've seen the top target, which it would take some work to get there. And I acknowledge that. But that target opened the door especially because now you'd be breaking out of a broadening wedge. So you got those two targets over the top because now it's not a bull flag. Now you've gained all of that steam out of a broadening wedge. But for that to happen now, you realize what's this move right here? Just depends where you hit, right? That's right around 49,000. Well, I'm not ready to say 49,000, but what I am ready to say is that 47,000 could be staring us in the face if we break 44,100. 49,000 would be logical, though, because that's the top of the broadening wedge. And that's technically the formation we're in. This is a mid-tier pivot point, and if that fails, that would just tell us that if we came back down and this doesn't hold, this is all for nothing. It'll be invalidated. If this held, if it holds this and bounces, if it came down here, bounced, and did layers, as long as it comes back through that old bull flag, game on. And that's at 44,100. So obviously, maybe this is the way to look at it now, with just the emphasis on the fact that we are in a broader or a much wider broadening wedge, but it still hasn't invalidated this structure. It's still playing within it. It just invalidated this formation. You can still use these. You can still use this. These are mid-tier support resistance points now, and within a much wider pattern. So this is very interesting how this is playing out, because to me, if I didn't know any better, I'd say it was setting up the shorts for a very, very nasty cry. A very, very painful, kick to the portfolio, it looks like to me. That's just what it seems like to me. So, I don't know what it seems like to everybody else, but it's exactly, what does everybody think? Wow, there's 78 people here, 76 likes. I love it. What do we think? Does that seem logical? Does that seem crazy? Like if you look at the total crypto market cap, it's at 1.609 trillion, up 0.58%, or 1.61 trillion now. Have a nice little V-shaped recovery. We already came up to the 1.79 trillion target. So what's left? It dumped down a lot. And it looks like at worst we would come up for a retest, right? Looks like it wants to come up for a retest. Daily looks fine. 4 hourly converged. Coming off a golden cross again. It just looks like something's not right. Something's not right. Like we said on the drop, something wasn't right. It shouldn't have did it exactly like it did, because it came up to resistance just to come to support for what? It didn't have enough steam when the way it did it, and then it started bouncing out. Something's just not right here. So when everybody's saying it's going down, when everybody says it can't go up, when everybody says don't buy this junk, like I always say, don't be with the 99%, be with the 0.1%, or don't be with the 75% going left, be with the 25% that are like, what in the hell are those other 3 people doing? You got 4 people in the room, 3 people are saying one thing, the one person's like, I'm not as clown. I shouldn't be the sideshow, I should be the show, but nobody's paying attention because most of the audience understands only what those 3 people know. See, that's what happens. Hey, Mike Stevenson, thank you so much for that. That's a new member in Tom's Army. I'm not exactly sure what day you joined, but I know you're new because you have the month 1 emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. That's truly a blessing indeed. And that's truly me. That's my face superimposed on there. Girl I know, Amber, that seen me on social media, she made that emoji badge for me some years ago. And I had stayed with my channel for over 3 years now. Well, almost 3 years in March. So I greatly appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. That pay it forward mentality, it truly keeps me going, because some people always say I'm underpaid. No. It goes through segments. When the market's down, sure, it can feel that way sometimes. But when the market's up, I sure do get a lot of appreciation from the audience. And that's what I always say. You can't judge it by one session. You judge it by the cumulative flow. And I believe people in themselves, are willing to pay it forward if somebody's giving them their time. I truly believe that if you're giving them value. If you give somebody value, they're going to give you value in return. Some people can't give you value in the terms of money, but what they can give you value in terms of comments, likes, shares, helping the audience expand, that's value. Some audiences, to get to 20,000, they pay a lot of money. This audience has no my show has no budget. Because, I want to keep this a nice viewing experience. I want to keep this information flowing. I want to make sure when the day comes that this audience had every little piece of information we could possibly get. And now we're being successful. Not saying we're not successful now, but a lot of people in a bear market don't understand that success is happening. I can tell you right now, my $6,500 investment, but even with all of these back turns, Well, I can't tell you because I haven't looked at it for a while, but let's see what it's at right now. You've all invested the exact same amount if you've been watching what I've been doing since early 23, and you found the ones to buy at certain points when it was at the right spot in the patterns. So I'm actually doing a little bit better than I thought. Still, this is what I mean though. Everything looks like we should be. Everybody will comment that are haters, not everybody who's watching, but the haters in the audience, which I appreciate because it lets me understand a market feel of when I should be buying something. And I know that sounds crazy, but the more people that start bashing, the better time it is. The more people that are praising might not be the right time. So, yeah. So that $6,500 portfolio is up to over 13,000 still. So the ones who are like, "Oh, this shit sucks. XRP's garbage." It's not worth our time. It's like, you tell me in a bear market with how much red we're seeing, where else you can throw $6,500 and it's worth over 13 grand still. I mean, just that's why I always tell everybody, you can make your own decision. Like, even I could still today take it all out and still have that money, but that's not the end game. Like, unless something cataclysmic showed me in the charts where I'm like, oh my God, like I've got to get rid of all of this. Okay, well then I would get rid of my $13,000+ worth of stuff that I spent $6,500 for roughly. If you want to be salty, say 7,000. I don't care which way. But you've got all that extra capital, and then for me, if it came back down, I'm not buying 13,000 of the same things. I'll have the same amount of things I had. Some will be expanded into something else, but then precious metals, if I were to do that. So, I look at it from a certain perspective. And I just seen a very generous donation. Mike, that is unbelievable. Your third super chat, first super chat of the live. I think that's the first donation of any kind. What a super generous guy you are. I mean, doesn't that just prove what I was saying? That $50 donation is more than I've gotten probably in the last seven days worth of lives combined. But then it's just one person like that shows that generosity. And that's what I mean. So now someone would have said, oh, you're working for free during the live. I don't see it as working for free either way. But now there's a $50 donation during the live. That's for the time. That's what I mean. He's appreciative for not just the info, but I'm sure for the time I give. That's why I always say you can't put a price tag on everything. You get to see the genuineness. That's why I know this audience is genuine. Because your leader's genuine. If it starts at the top, there's no limit. Jorge, welcome in. Good to see you in here, my brother. Tanya, welcome in, love. My birthday sister in the house. Believe it or not, we both share a birthday on December 17th. I may be older, but I believe she is slightly wiser. I'm slightly older too, so it's funny. I aged for a little bit longer, but yet I'm not as smart. How does that work? What the hell is going on here? Jan, welcome in, love. And Jan's been in Tom's Army for over 2 years. That's the 589 badge. That comes after the I told you so badge in month 12. The 24-month badge was because it lines up in 2023. Everybody said at the end of 2023 it'd be $589. I turned it into my own thing, no 0.589 cents, and we'll see at the end of 2023. I got criticized, yada yada yada, and here we are. And Tanya, thank you for being in Tom's Army. My birthday sister in month. The XRP meteor. That's either 5 or 6. I always confuse the meteor and the predictor. So yeah, wow. We've got some lengthy members in Tom's Army. Some lengthy members. I think the longest member right now is over 33 or 34 months. There's a slew of them. So I seen some donations too. Wow. Tanya, thank you so much. She says, birthday, bro. Her first YouTube super chat. I am so blessed by that. $10. I thank you for that so much. And Cezam, here's your membership. Ask Tom, keep up your good work, my friend. Hey, $10 donation. That is just as good as a month in Tom's Army. I love it. I mean, Tom's Army is just it's a simple way of saying thank you, and it's just easier. But I put everything I've got out in front of me, so I'm giving you all I've got. Tamul, thank you for the $10 donation. Wow. Mike started it out. See, it only takes one person to start the gates flowing. Sometimes, Archie, thank you so much. I think I said Tamul. Oh, man. He was calling me. Thank you, Archie, so much. I know, that's what I'm saying, Matt. Sometimes it's, that's what I say. So don't ever think that it doesn't all come back at full circle. It's all about the effort. But, you know, I'd like to think today it happened for a reason. We talked about how thought the show was getting a little stale, and I've been changing it up a little bit here. I hope some of you have noticed. Has anybody noticed the past few days the subtle differences that have made it maybe a little more entertaining, a little more information, a little more knowledge? Like, in fact, this is what I mean. So Binance, instead of just sitting on the charts, and I know I took a lot longer than I should have, 45 minutes. Oh, my goodness. But Binance froze 4.2 million of XRP from hack on Ripple co-founder's wallet. And this is just a good way to increase, our information. Yes, Tanya, the money train, I know. It always gets me, too, because it's everybody's hard-earned money. So when somebody sends me their hard-earned money like that for appreciation, and not because I'm promising you something, but because of something I've delivered, it shows me that something's going right. And I'm glad that a few of you have noticed. It's been subtle because I haven't talked about it, but I've been adding what I think is more value because I felt like watching it. I'm like, you know what? I can do better than this. I think I was a little down because of my aunt. I knew she was about to pass away for a few weeks, so it was a rough time. And then obviously with her funeral, and stuff last week, it was tough. But now I think, it's kind of like you move through cycles. So until Bob shows up, yes, sees him. I do notice that it's been a much more positive message indeed. But Bob does have his moments. So real quickly, I want to read this. Binance froze 4.2 million of XRP from hack on Ripple co-founder's wallet. I said yesterday that I'd keep giving information as it came out. So this was interesting when I read this. This came out about, it says 12 hours ago, but I've had this up for a little bit. What if I refresh this? Okay, so not quite 14, so some 13 plus hours ago. So the hacker behind the exploit didn't use any mixer services or decentralized exchanges. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance froze 4.2 million worth of XRP from the 112 million hack on Ripple co-founder Chris Larson's personal wallet on January 31st, making it the largest hack of 2024 so far. In a post on social media platform X, Binance CEO Richard, and remember, Chris Larson said that this was not a hack of Ripple, it was a hack of his personal wallets. And my question is not only the amount, but why were there so many different personal wallets? Like, I understand having it all, but it seems kind of odd that his would get hacked out of everybody's. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but I don't know. So we did the math yesterday. He could have made anywhere from 16 to 18 million if he got that money back since it got sold at 57 cents. And let's just say he got it back after it was held and then he got it returned. He could have turned it in. Let's just say he turned it in at 50 cents. He could be up some $14 million right now and then still have the exact same amount. When you're dealing with money that big, but we'll see. It seems fishy to me, but let's continue reading. After finding out early on about the exploit that occurred at Ripple, we're happy to say that Binance team has managed to freeze 4.2 million worth of XRP stolen by the exploiter. We appreciate both the community's efforts in flagging it to exchanges. And this is from X. And this is Richard Tang's verified account. I guess you call it that these days still. We appreciate both the community's efforts in flagging it to exchanges. As always, at Zach, did a great job, and the Ripple's team works in collaborating with us. We will continue to support Ripple in their investigations and their efforts to retrieve back the funds, including closely monitoring the majority of funds still in the exploiter's external wallets in case they deposit to Binance. Our team is firmly dedicated to supporting a safe ecosystem, so we always encourage projects and users to reach out to us in instances like this. So listen, here's the funny thing. So let's just say they're not looking to be stupid if they already stole this. I mean, I don't know who's going to turn it back into the exchanges themselves. Only an idiot would do that. They could literally go to any gold online dealership, silver, and they could use it right out of the account in their wallet they're using. The gold company's not going to know. Go to Scottsdale Mint right now if they're from the USA and go buy it with their crypto. Nobody would know. It could get linked back if somehow it gets attached to theirs. So the risk you run with that, and this is what I'm going to warn everybody about the scammers, because there's ways to get caught. Even if you think crypto can't come back to you, there's a point to this. Imagine they bought the gold and silver and they're like, you know what? That crypto is gone. I turned it into gold and silver. It's going to be delivered to my house. It's going to be stored in a vault. I have to give them my name, address, whatever, because it's my fucking gold and silver. Well, what happens? You just left a footprint. It's not a paper footprint. It's actually worse. It's a digital footprint. You can't burn the receipt. Everybody said crypto is secrecy. No, no, no. Are you kidding me? Go send Bitcoin from one person to the other and then go to the Block Explorer and tell me how private it is. You can literally backtrack everybody's thing to their IP. So it's not exactly what it seems, but you would have to go through a lot of layers to get there. But the point is if you have a big enough business corporate, you can get there. So let's finish this. So there was early speculation that Ripple was hacked, with some news claiming that XRP token itself was hacked. However, Larson later revealed that it was his personal accounts that were compromised, not Ripple itself. Do we believe it was his account, or do we think it was Ripple? That's the other, or XRP. That's the other thing. Are they trying to cover up the fact that they were hacked? Is this a way to gain liquidity so that they were able to move up to 57 cents now? Was it a ploy so that institutions could get a little bit cheaper for a quick move up, even if it was a bear or a bull trap here? Just like credit and debit cards. Yep, it sure is, and it is fishy, Matt. I agree. The hacker behind the exploit didn't use crypto mixer services or decentralized exchanges to hide their identity. Recently, most exploiters have stopped using centralized exchanges to avoid the possibility of funds being frozen. Zach XBT later revealed that the Ripple attribution for the affected account was tagged in XRP Block Explorers. See, remember when I was talking about Block Explorers with Bitcoin? Even with XRP, it's there. XRP scanning BitDump, ByteDump, BitHump, I don't know what the hell they call themselves these days, as Ripple itself, leading to confusion about the hack. Ripple co-founder Larson revealed that some of his personal XRP accounts were compromised and 213 million XRP was stolen. Larson also said that Ripple is in the talks with crypto exchanges to freeze the exploiter address and has informed law enforcement agencies. According to Zach XBT, the exploiters netted 213 million XRP, worth about 112.5 million, before attempting to launder the XRP. Ready? I'm going to ask you, what's one notable exchange you don't see on here? Before attempting to launder the XRP through at least 6 different exchanges, including MEXC, Gate.io, Binance, Kraken, OKX, HTX, and HitBTC. What's one you don't see on here? It's one that I love. It's one that I trust a whole hell of a lot. And for somebody who was asking if it was the new Zoom, no, that's not part of it. Coinbase, another good observation, not on here, but that's not the one that I trust. I'll get to who I trust in a minute. It's some of you should know. Yes. Yes, Uphold. Thank you, Matt. Uphold. It all sounds very suspect. Though look at the exchanges involved for some of them. It came? Yeah, a dehumidifier cast. So excited. While Binance has frozen. See, this is being adult. I'm excited about a dehumidifier coming. While Binance has frozen some of the stolen funds, other crypto exchanges, including OKX and Kraken, have yet to reveal if they have identified or frozen any funds associated with that. Now, that in itself is suspicious because... Oh, turn it on. You can turn it on. You need the light, Julie. Turn it on. Don't be silly. You got to turn it on. Binance... If they know the identity, how can these other ones say they don't know if they know the identity? So that's where this, to me, that's where the whole suspicion comes in. Binance is already saying they froze. How much was it exactly? $4.2 million worth of XRP. And they know through the XRP Block Explorer. So all of them should know. So Cointelegraph reached out to Binance and Ripple for further comments, but did not receive a response by publication. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's all suspicious, but it's all suspicious. It feels suspicious to me. And sometimes when things don't feel right to me, now it comes back to is this just a FUD situation so that they get bottom side liquidity like they got down to the bottom of the descending triangle so that we can get a little bit of a bounce here to garner the liquidity to drop down to the rising channel support at 44 cents, which I believe is where the institutions or the leverage traders that are in on this are looking to buy futures contracts at 44 cents for a quick reversal up to about 66, 67 to the top of that rising channel resistance from June of 2022 after making a quick bounce down, but needing that liquidity to bounce down to 44 cents. You needed to push up to 57, but to get that push to 57, you had to have the drop down to 49.4, which had overextended, and then it came back down to reconfirm it slightly lower. That's how it happened. And there's so many avenues to this, but if you've been watching me for any length of time, I'm not just speaking rubbish. I have it all on the charts for a reason, just like I'm talking. I've memorized it because I do it every day. It's not even memorized. This is like muscle memory. When you do it every day, it becomes something different. And I'm passionate about it, I find a lot of people hard pressed to keep their passion after this amount of time. But then the only other thing I really wanted to discuss was the XRP ledger. I find some interesting stuff today about the ledger. This is what I thought was cool. Remember we talked about the AMM approval yesterday? It's under a 14-day holding period. This will allow holders of XRP through the XRP ledger to basically make passive income. Now, it's always a risk because basically you're saying, here's $1,000 worth of my XRP for the promise of, let's just say for purposes, $1,050 worth of XRP. But that doesn't mean your XRP can't not come back in some cases. So that's the risk. But Ripple devs propose updates following recent XRPL AMM approval. And this is just piggybacking off of what we talked about yesterday. Following the passing of the XLS-30D amendment on January 31st, which introduced the automated market maker AMM feature to the XRP ledger, XRPL, Ripple's development team has moved to address and propose crucial updates aimed at refining this newly added functionality. I'm just curious, who's interested by this news? Who thinks this will be a way for us to boost our income while we hold XRP, or do you think this is just too risky in itself? Solana, like I've always said, because of its circulating supply, it's so low. And I don't know how familiar you are with Solana. I just want to show you this. Solana's circulating supply, and I say it's the manipulator's coin to a T. All the big guys, and it's been known, FTX, some of these other exchanges and such, they like to push Solana because of how small the circulating supply is. The circulating supply of XRPs right now is just over 54 billion. Solana's got 436 million tokens. That's it. So 54 billion, 436 million, a lot easier to push that market cap. That's why when everybody says Solana, XRP, if Solana can get to that price, so can XRP, it's not true. XRP's market cap is at 54 plus billion. Solana's not even 600 million or 500 million. It's a big difference. So anyhow, let me go back to what I was reading. I'm sorry. I got distracted, but that's the main reason. Just get used to that. Get used to that. You're more worried about the market cap positioning, not so much the price, because see how much market cap value there is in XRP at such a low price compared to how high it seems for Solana, how high the price has to be to have a similar market cap. The true information is within the details. The necessity for these updates emerged from a technical complication discovered during exhaustive integration tests. It was found that AMM transactions could face delays if the trading fee is set below the minimal threshold of 0.01%. This specific issue could hinder the immediate execution of transactions within the same ledger cycle. Post the creation of an AMM, especially when trading fees are lower than the stated limit. One, an extended integration testing to ensure the AMM platform performs as intended over time. We identified an issue that could prevent multiple AMM TXS from executing in the same ledger. We have proposed and are reviewing a fix. This comes from Ripple itself. This comes from Ripple itself. So, and this is the context of change. So currently oh, well, I'm not reading through all the mumbo jumbo. But I guess maybe we should read through the mumbo jumbo. Does everybody want to read through the mumbo jumbo? Probably not. But in response, the developers have outlined a series. We'll just read through the mumbo jumbo like this. Designed to enable the precise identification of default fields by AMM inner objects, the strategic move is intended to circumvent the delays by ensuring transactions can proceed smoothly without pause, thereby bolstering the AMM's efficiency and reliability. Such a measure is critical for maintaining seamless operations across the AMM, ensuring that it functions optimally under all circumstances. The push for these technical improvements reflects Ripple's ongoing dedication to enhancing the XRPL ecosystem, with the focus on ensuring that all features, including the AMM, operate at their best. The initiative comes on the heels of the AMM feature, and this is what we read through yesterday, not through this article, but this is what happened yesterday. We talked about how up until yesterday, there was about 20 validators that approved it, which was only about 60%. You needed at least 30 validators to make it 80%. And now it's up to, let's see, the initiative comes on the heels, yada, 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 achieving an 80% consensus among the decentralized unique node list, DUNL validators. Out of 35 validators, 30 threw their support behind the amendment, showcasing the strong belief within the community and among key industry players in the AMM's potential benefits. Notable endorsements came from the prominent entities like Ripple, BitUnit, BiHump, I don't know, and Alloy Networks, an XRPL validator. With the technical updates slated for implementation on February 14th, anticipation within the XRPL community is growing amidst the backdrop of Ripple's ongoing efforts to enhance the XRP ledger and its features. A major security incident involving co-founder Chris Larson came to light. See how convenient. This is what I'm saying. How convenient. Let's hear me out. Now that there's the ability to get some passive income through Ripple XRP off of the ledger, how convenient is it now that co-founder gets hacked? How many people do you think it'll turn off now to not collect passive income if it's out there for them because of this? How much liquidity did XRP gain for future prospects? I mean, that so many questions and so convenient of timing. Richard Tang, CEO of Binance, shared on X on February 2nd that the exchange had promptly frozen the addresses of a hacker who targeted Larson's personal wallet. Tang acknowledged the swift and effective cooperation between the Ripple team and blockchain analyst Zach XBT in responding to the cyber theft. So, it is up to you guys to make an educated and informed decision. I am not a financial advisor, so what the hell do I know? I just put all the information out there and I try to make an educated and informed decision for myself. And I try to put out the information so every one of you can make that same informed decision. I can't hide behind a paywall, otherwise some of you won't be able to make that same informed decision, and I can't live by that. So that's it, everybody. I can't believe we went an hour and 3 minutes, but it's been a fantastic and beautiful audience today. Have a blessed evening. I think I might have there's an article I want to share later, but it's on my phone. It has something to do with not as important as this, but I think it might be relevant if I share it maybe at 9, 10 o'clock tonight, but we'll see. So have a blessed evening, everybody. Thank you all so much for the donations. You have no idea how much that means to me. You know, and all the ones in Tom's Army that continue to see it through. It's just so not just important for what I do, but it means a lot to me to see the humbleness in the audience. UK Phil! Bree Ups in Tom's Army, and UK Phil, don't think I don't notice that. Don't think I don't notice that, and that's mighty generous because you sent a YouTube super chat. You're the last person. When you sent that YouTube super chat a few days ago, you were the last person until I got one today to send one. And now I see you today, and you're back in Tom's Army for month 2. And that's the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I know that. That's a very important one because that was us seeing it through and defying Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News on YouTube for bashing us way back in the beginning. And seeing that we're here for so long, and now we've got 20,000 plus subscribers. I think we showed them, Phil. You and I and everybody in this audience said that we're better than that. We don't have to break their balls. We're just going to put out good information. So, just pay attention to everything I've said today. It's been an honor and a privilege. And honestly, for the old ones who have been around for a while, I'm just going to play this out. We've played, I've sang Sunny Days a few times, but if you're new, get used to this because in the future, you're going to get to hear me sing it live. But just as a thank you to somebody in the audience who created this, I'm going to leave you with this. Have a blessed night. Hashtag be better, do better. Hashtag fight assassins. And remember, help one person each and every day, because if I don't do my part and you don't do your part, not only what the hell is the point, but it's going to be a very slippery slope in our journey to 2028, because it's still a long, winding road. But if we don't fall off the ebb and flows and twist, and we stay on the straight and narrow, and we keep it, laser focused, we're going to be doing something that you're not even going to believe. Imagine I told you in a bear market that looks as bad as it does right now that you could double your portfolio. Even in the times we're in right now, I bet you all would have thought I was lying to you in 2021. In 2024, you believe because you're part of it. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Oops.
Sunny days, here again. Sunny days, here again. Sunny.
Can we get one more like during sunny days and making it even 100? That would be a blessing in disguise. Can we get to 100? It's always that ominous 99th one. We're just stuck. Let's see if we can get one more by the end. We got one more. I am done talking. I love each and every one of you. Have a blessed evening. Thank you so much.
Here again. Sunny days. Sunny days. Sunny days. Here again. Sunny days. Here again. Sunny days. Here again. Sunny days. Here again. I wear glasses 'cause I'm so cool. I can predict the charts. Sunny days, here again.
Oh, we love Sherman. Oh, we love Sherman.
Sunny days, here again. Sunny days. Join Tom's Army for $9.99 a month.
And UK Phil, thank you for that. It says you'll be here for the foreseeable. As will I. As will I. We never know what tomorrow holds, but as long as God gives me the ability, I'll be here each and every day, right in front of each and every one of you. Have a blessed evening, and as JW said, join Tom's Army. Why wouldn't you, folks? Have a blessed one. Thank you all so much for the support and your time, most